Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Tuesday show, August 27, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Coming up on 67,000 subscribers on this platform. We thank each and every one of you as we gear up for football season. The man, the myth, the legend, the great Braylon Edwards in the house. How you doing, my man?
I'm great. College football season is upon us. You're talking Saturday, Michigan open up against Fresno State. So here I am rocking the gear. I'm tired and I'm done with the golf outing season.
Yes,
so
oh my God!
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
So I am locked into this chair. I am locked into the season. It's exciting to be with the whole crew. And before we get going, if you guys will indulge me, I just want to say shout out to my number one fan of the show, my mom. Sometimes you got to send mom some love.
Hey,
you know
mom.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
Someone send mom some love and tell her I love you. I will see you soon. Sometimes you got to give mom love, man, especially as a boy. So,
how about Charles?
I took Dad out last Sunday.
What's up,
last
CP?
Thursday.
All right.
We went to lunch last
What's up,
Thursday.
Mrs. P?
So shout out to Stan, shout out to Carol.
Yes, Stan.
Oh, yeah, Stan and Carol. We got to give them
100%
to everybody. Tom Mazway, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey guys, it's honestly it's good to be with you guys. I love it when we're all together. I hate when we're not. I love when we're all together.
I agree.
It's football season. It's a freaking unbelievable day. You got Lions, you got Michigan, you got Connor Stallions, you got the high school kickoff starting. This is it, man. Let's lock in.
And we are going to talk. We got a couple of different things going on here. We're going to talk to Aaron McCann. We're going to talk to him coming up at 3 o'clock, top of hour number 2. Aaron McCann, U of M beat writer for the Ann Arbor News and MLive. We'll talk to Marty Dobek from the Detroit Sports Commission. It is a big weekend of Michigan high school football, none bigger than what's happening with the Prep Kickoff Classic at Wayne State beginning on Thursday. We'll talk about that and how you can get involved as well.
Those are well done.
Pete Spivak, good afternoon to you guys. How you guys doing?
What's up, Rye Guy? Good to have you guys here.
Hey, before we get into today, everybody have a good day yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was hot, but good.
I did. How about yourself? How was your day?
Great day yesterday. Kid's first day of school.
Okay.
I'm telling you, and then we got my kid into karate. I actually,
karate.
I mean, wait a minute. I gotta send this to you,
All right,
Pete.
send it to me.
This is like the greatest moment of my life. Okay, I gotta tell you about this. So yesterday, the kids had school, and it was their first day at school, and I think there are just so many different. I feel so fortunate that I could take my kids to school and pick them up. It was a half day. And spend this time with them and I think this generation of dad, for lack of we have balanced this work-life balance, trying to be more involved in that. Okay, it's great. Now after the school, my kid, I want my kids to be exposed to everything. I've put my little guy in soccer, in hockey, in ice skating, in baseball, in basketball. What else have we done? Ninja class. He's done everything. So yesterday, we put him in karate. It was his first karate lesson. And I cannot wait to show you this video. This was like the biggest. Now, I love my kid.
100%. Shout out to Lukey.
And he's young. But he's probably not going to. Follow in my footsteps of being one of the greatest athletes in the history of the East Side.
Never came out the
of
game.
Detroit. I never came out of the game.
Don't forget it. Don't you forget it.
What he lacks in athletic ability, he makes up for in superhero knowledge.
Why don't you let me teach him bowling?
Okay.
Why don't you let
Bowling's another one.
All right.
We've
Let's
done
go.
bowling. But yesterday, this is his first karate class. Take a look at this.
Karate.
Good. Gentle 2. Gentle 3. Break it.
He did. Is that great?
All right. Hold on. Let me give him a buzzer for that.
Did you see the face?
He was surprised.
Oh my
Lukey
gosh,
for the win.
Had a little bit of success in something, so that was great.
I need a
What's
body
great
guard.
about that is, as young kids, you're very impressionable. So like you need to have success to feel good about yourself, to go to the next level and try to achieve to do more. That moment and that precious look, like that's it. He's
Right.
like, okay, I can press a little bit.
Yeah.
I can press a little.
just
Congrats on that, big
Be
guy.
exposed to everything and see what you like. Maybe you like chess club. I don't know. We'll expose you to that, too.
I just finished
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit for the 3rd time.
Really?
Great movie.
Very
Love
good.
that show. Love that show.
Yeah, that was dope, man. I see
That
my
was
guy, and I
good.
just saw him last
man.
Saturday. So I see him getting the ball,
Yeah,
man.
I know, man. It's,
Proud father.
It's good. So you got something coming up here.
Yeah, just wanted to say, I talked about it Friday with Maz, and we were doing the show. KG was out there at the Allied Challenge at Warwick Hills, and just to see what we're trying to move in that forward direction again, man. It's kind of like reinvigorating. Like, we were on that call last week, and Stick had the vision for what Woodward Sports is going to be and what we're going to do. So it's been a fun week. Yesterday at the Mark Wahlberg outing, and then this past weekend, the Allied Challenge. Ryan, it's never been so much love. University of Michigan right now,
Yeah.
man. Like, they were feeding into it. I mean, you had all types of celebrities there, from Jeff Daniels to this golfer and that golfer, and people that were a little bit more relevant at the time. But they saw that U of M, that Go Blue, they knew what it was, and it was just loud. Concert, Thomas Rhett. Oh, yeah, this is on the
Dude, look
celebrity.
at that.
With
It's
the
on the
ball
celebrity
tracer.
challenge right there. You know what I'm saying? It's a dog leg, right? You see the sands right there.
That's a good gallery.
Go. Let's
100
go.
Just a little
That's a
something,
good
man.
gallery right there.
It was fun. But this shows you that the boy has skill too in the short game. Man. So
Okay. Short game on point.
right there, you see what it is.
Very nice little
4
chopper.
feet from the pin. 4 feet from the pin. But just excited. It's been a fun summer, and getting outside Woodward Sports, and a lot of these partnerships we do, whether it's Randy
Look at Brad.
Wise, whether it's Ally, and whether
Oh,
it's,
you could have played quarterback, Braylon Edwards.
never came out the game. Never came
How
out
about
the
Julie
game.
Inkster? Julie Inkster.
Julie
had
Inkster,
good.
golf legend, 7 majors.
I saw her throw you a pass. Is that
I got it on her somewhere. But yeah, she threw me
It was
a
a
pass.
little wobbly, but it got there.
right?
It hit me in stride, though.
It did.
hit me in stride.
It did.
So a lot of fun with Woodward Sports. And now I'm excited for football season. I think we're going to parlay a lot of these partnerships, whether it's Second Best or Ally or whoever. It's going to be a fun year at Woodward Sports, especially Marty Dobek, man. So, fellas, let's rock and roll.
That's awesome, man. Guys, we're going to talk about Michigan football momentarily, but I do want to get to the latest news that happened just a short time before we got on air here. The Lions did release Nate Sudfeld, QB2. This is from Ian Rappaport. Lions releasing quarterback Nate Sudfeld, who spent plenty of time as the number 2 quarterback. Now it appears that Hendon Hooker has won the job. Sudfeld has impressed plenty in practice without a ton of game reps, and will find his way into a practice squad at the very least. Now, I don't believe the Lions officially make any of these announcements until they all come out at once
Yep.
at 4 o'clock. Our show is over at that time. So we do have some of these cuts. Let's first stick with the Sudfeld, if we could. Are you surprised by that part of it, Braylon Edwards, that Sudfeld cut Hendon Hooker number 2?
No, I'm not at all. I think at the end of the day, Lions have found their quarterback in Jared Goff. You know you're good there. You're not really necessarily looking for a guy to press Jared Goff. You want to find a number 2 just in case. You saw what you saw out of Hendon Hooker. You know what you drafted him in the 3rd round to do. Maybe be a guy that you trade, not trade, but kind of keeping the wings like a Jordan Love or like an Aaron Rodgers in those situations when his day comes to arrive. So Nate Sudfeld time was up. I don't think anybody here believed that he could be a successful backup quarterback or a solid backup quarterback. And when you build your team to such a form now where we know we're headed to the NFC Championship, it's just a matter, are we getting by the NFC Championship to the Super Bowl? Are we going to win the Super Bowl? Now it's more predicate than ever that you got to have a backup quarterback. They didn't necessarily care before. But now you're playing for a lot more this year.
Maz, you were out. I think, Kenny, you and I were talking about this, and
Yeah.
I didn't care if you put Nate Sudfeld number 2 and Hendon Hooker number 3. Heaven forbid if Jared Goff goes out, the guy that was going to get tapped on the shoulder was going to be Hendon Hooker. I mean, that's who they were going to go with. That is the player that gave them the best opportunity to win a game. I think, anybody, God bless Nate Sudfeld, he might know that playbook inside and out.
Yeah.
But the ability to execute those plays were just not there. Is Hendon Hooker the guy that we believe could lead this team to a Super Bowl right now? No. They are probably, there's no doubt they're in trouble without Jared Goff. I do believe if you're telling me that it's Sudfeld or Hooker, that Hooker gives you the best opportunity to win the game. Still a long way to go, but you see some potential there.
Yeah, they drafted him 3rd last year. You know they were going to find a spot for him. So in a perfect world, Jared Goff's here 3 more years at least, leading to a Super Bowl championship. And then there's your Jordan Love waiting in the wings. Now, I understand Hendon Hooker's older than Jordan Love.
76 years old.
Yeah, we get that. And in a perfect world, he's 3-4 years younger, but he's not. The kid has got a good head on his shoulders. The kid would have been a first-round pick had he not torn his ACL.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. And he might be starting for someone right now, but it ain't going to be for this Lions team. And knock wood, this is Jared Goff's team. Lead us to the promised land, and then whatever happens after that, you're playing with house money. 3rd guy, it could be Jake Fromm, who was impressive in camp.
Who, by the way, I thought Fromm played better than Sudfeld.
Absolutely.
He did. No question about it. And Dan Campbell went out and said, hey, that Fromm played really good, played well. I like what I saw out of him. He might have earned himself the practice squad bump. There are other quarterbacks that have been released. You got Mike White out there, Bailey Zappi, guys like that. Desmond Ritter is out there. There's going to be a lot of guys being picked up here in the next week. We'll see how it goes. See if the Lions go with Fromm at number 3, or do they bring back Sudfeld at number 3?
You know, just being honest and keeping it simple, I think they saw enough from Sudfeld that they saw all they needed to see.
100%.
Over the span of the last 2 years, they've seen what they've seen. They've seen an offseason last year, seen him during the season. You know, they saw him in the offseason this season. They seen him through another training camp. They saw him actually have a training camp battle in Hendon Hooker versus himself, and he didn't play as well as Hendon Hooker. You know, how many years do you need? I think they're in the mind now, hey, you know what? Let's get another young guy, Jake Fromm, see what it is, see if we can see something with him, because at the end of the day, all our focus is going to be on Hendon Hooker anyway. It doesn't need to have a guy that you know he's not going to step in and do anything for you. You know when you know, kind of.
Some of the other cuts that we believe we know so far, Ty Summers, who had a nice game, a nice preseason. Scott Daly, Shane Zylstra, the tight end. Caden Davis, wide receiver. Mitchell Agudy, Zonovan Knight, Stephen Gilmore. So those are some pretty big names.
Yeah,
I was going to go to him
Yes.
next. Donovan Peoples-Jones. We have speculated just by what our eyes have told us through this preseason that Donovan Peoples-Jones was not going to make this team and probably shouldn't have. I posted yesterday that I feel terrible for Donovan Peoples-Jones and his family. He's a great guy with a great family. Back in your hometown, I hate the situation for him, but he didn't earn a roster spot. And I think when you're playing for an NFL organization, you've got to earn that spot. I don't believe he did. While I feel bad for him, I understand and believe in that decision.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like this. Look, he's my U of M brother. As I'm rocking and rolling, you'll find out in the second hour why I'm so heavily Michigan-based today. But, it sucks. But at the end of the day, Ryan, like sometimes you need a swift kick in the you-know-what. And I'm not saying this is his, but it could be. And with that sense, this is how it happened. This is kind of how it happened to me. You go from starting, get traded, starting again on another team to now you got to fight a little harder in training camp to be the starter. Now you're a third wide receiver, and now you're fighting just to make the squad. So the more and more you face those challenges, how do you handle them? How do you accept them? I think this is a good coming home period. Come home, DPJ, get involved with Michigan a little bit in terms of going up there to work out, see what's going on. Like who you are, what do you want to do, what do you want to be moving forward in the league? Like this, sometimes you need that kick in the butt for you to say, hey, I got to put more work in, I got to put more effort in. Maybe he wasn't putting forth the effort, but maybe this is what he needed.
Yeah, because the difference between you and him, he's 25 years old.
A lot of time left.
Much older, so yeah.
Listen,
a lot of time left.
They're probably going to keep. You thought they were going to keep 5 wide receivers. They're down to 4 right now.
Yeah.
Isaiah Williams looks like he's making the team, unless something unforeseen happens. There are receivers out there. And I'm going to start with Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson's out there, big, tall guy, 11 years, had a great preseason. He's healthy. Panthers waived Terrence Marshall. That's a former second-round pick. There are guys that are going to be popping up left and right. Titans cut a couple of guys. you're going to see a lot of meat out there on the waiver wire. I don't know who they're going to go with. I have no idea. But look back, they could have kept Josh Reynolds. And I don't know what the hell happened.
He wanted more money. He was asking for
listen,
$2
man,
more million.
$42 million are under the cap. He went for like $9 million for like 2 years.
But they thought DPJ would work as well.
But it didn't.
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds was the play here. He was the play to bring back, and now they're going to be scrambling for someone else's scraps. That's all I got to say.
You're not wrong about that, Maz. I mean, when you look at what impact Josh Reynolds had last year on third down and in the red zone, I believe something crazy like 90% of his catches were either for a first down or a touchdown.
Yes.
And that's a big hole. That's a big void to fill.
Yeah. Huge security blanket for Goff.
He was, and you will be scrambling. Now, you took a gamble probably on a one-year deal for DPJ, and it didn't work out. You're not going to hit 100%, but let's see what happens now. You know, do you go out and get an Allen Robinson? Just a couple of guys, right? I mean, Allen Robinson's mom, by the way,
we spotted her.
We love her.
At the Calvin Johnson
At the Calvin
outing.
Johnson golf outing. She was there. And we talked, gave her a big hug. She's an awesome person. I think it would be great to bring Allen Robinson here. And really, it's a guy that has, and this is just one example, Bray. This is a guy that has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He wanted a big money deal, really didn't get one, went out to L.A., 1 year deal, traded, cut, whatever he was. I think he was cut and signs on, doesn't make the team. This is a guy with a chip on his shoulder that I think those are the types of players that the Lions do like. Guys that are on prove-it deals and see what you got.
Yo, just getting back to Josh Reynolds for a second, I don't agree with the move. Should have bring him back. Should have kept him. Then you don't have to worry about these obstacles. A wide receiver in the training camp and getting close to the season. Josh Reynolds was a guy that was the third wide receiver, and this Detroit Lions team got a lot of opportunities, made a lot of plays, and has a great track record with Jared Goff. But that said, in the biggest moment of the Detroit Lions' modern present, he drops two passes, not one, but he drops two. He drops two huge passes. Huge passes.
I don't think it earns him a ticket out of town,
but
though.
Maz, at the same time, you bring him in, and now you run the risk of an individual that will be in his mind. Like, you had to pay him this offseason. It wasn't like a contract that he was already under. You would have had to pay him. But now you run the risk of what's his mindset going to be? Is every moment he catches or tries to catch a pass going back to the NFC Championship game? He's a third wide receiver to drop two passes that kept you out of the Super Bowl. Now I know it falls on the whole of the Detroit Lions, but in those moments, both of those would have been first downs that would extend it, and the Lions win. You can't have remnants of that over and I'm telling you, like Allen Robinson moving forward to this you bring up a good point. He's from here. He's born here. He used to be a stud wide receiver. At one point, we were talking about paying him the bag. Hell, the Bears did pay him the bag to a certain extent, and now he's looking for a team. You come here, he still has number one skill. Maybe he'll want to fight, and maybe being that third wide receiver will humble him in a cool spot.
Well, I was going to add Kadarius Toney now to the list.
He's a
because
bum.
he just got
bum.
We good.
I understand, but does he have NFL talent?
No, he's a washout.
He's got NFL speed, but not NFL hands.
He's been released,
Don't even
so
bring
I was
him
just
up.
adding him to the list.
Giants wasted a number one pick on that bum.
Yeah, I would look at a Tim Patrick. A Noah Brown was also cut from
Brown's
the
a good
Texans
one.
too.
Yeah.
So
Tim
yeah.
Patrick's
He actually
fragile.
did okay last
He
year
is
for the
fragile,
Texans.
but
So, go ahead, please. please.
You know the Lions' record with injured players. That's all I was.
Tim Patrick's the Denver, the Broncos.
Yeah, he'll be gone.
They
soon.
say he's a great leader in that locker room. I dare or something like that. Kind of the same identity that the Lions have in that locker room.
Now, just as a point of order here, you know, a lot of people in the chat, too many to name right now, are talking about how, you know, last year Josh Reynolds was essentially the number two, and you do anticipate Jameson Williams to come in this year and be that number two.
Yeah.
I think with the information you have right now, anyway, would you like to see a wide receiver room of Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Khalif, and Isaiah Williams, or Josh Reynolds, Khalif, J-Mo, and you might be splitting hairs there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think
I don't think I am.
You might not be because we've seen it in tough spots.
Yeah.
Not to mention those 2 drops, huge drops that probably cost the Lions a Super
He's a
Bowl
much
opportunity.
better player than those moments, and I don't want to be short-sighted because I've dropped
Yeah.
past the moment, so I don't want to be like that. I'm not trying to be.
He was upset with the fans too, by the way, of Detroit. He mentioned on his Twitter
Hypocritical.
back in the day, hey, all you guys are against me here, blah, blah. Remember that. He had that chip on his shoulder as well. Maybe that was why they didn't bring him back. I don't know.
You're talking about a team that's waited to be in that moment for a very long time, and they blamed him. Now, whether it's fair, who cares about fair or wrong? A lot of people blamed him. A lot of people said things to him. So that's tough. That's tough to overlook and overcome.
And I do think, when you talk about, Maz, when you talk about the Lions keeping 4 wide receivers, they might not bring anybody in.
Right.
I mean, maybe they just keep 4 wide receivers and the number grows somewhere. Maybe you keep 4 running backs
Correct.
instead of 3.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Gibbs and Laporta are going to catch a lot of balls.
Exactly.
Right. Well,
A lot.
They also don't go 4 wide a lot. The Lions really stay in 2 wide receiver set for the most part.
well, again, maybe you're deciding between keeping Craig Reynolds versus
Yeah.
a 5th wide receiver.
Correct.
No, now you keep 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers instead of 5 wide receivers, 3 running backs, because Vaki's making the team.
Yeah.
Reynolds is making
You
it.
probably keep Craig Reynolds.
Right, exactly.
Reynolds
So,
is making it no
yeah.
matter what.
Is Craig Reynolds better than wide receiper 5 on this team?
Probably,
Yes.
yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
more useful.
And they're going 3 tight ends. They got rid of Shane Zylstra, so they're no longer going 4. They got Keith. They still have Mitchell.
James Mitchell,
they
yeah.
got Brock Wright, who they pay, and obviously they got Big Sam Laporta.
Yeah, and Mitchell's an interesting choice too. I mean, I almost think Shane Zylstra probably earned the spot over James Mitchell.
Right.
That could be a
one
contract
guy was
thing.
drafted, one guy wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I do think that's. I always say I don't think coaches cut players that are better than the ones they keep, but I do think there's a business end to some of this stuff.
Watch out for a player like James Mitchell. The only reason I say that, I've seen this before where a player is super talented, but he's just not better than the guy that's in front of him right now,
Yes.
and he's not necessarily the thing that could be, he can't be Brock Wright. Like, he can be Sam Laporta, and he's probably really good, but he ain't better than Sam Laporta. That's why he's still on the team, and Shane Zylstra isn't. I guarantee you, they'll have a couple plays, a couple nuances for James Mitchell. Guys like that don't secretly make the team. He probably has some skill, and you're going to see it sometime this year.
You got to catch the ball.
I think one of the biggest intrigue storylines today that will be today, and I have not seen any news on this yet, is what do the Lions do with James Houston? If you hear what Dan Campbell said after the game, it was almost like he was agonizing about this decision coming up. Here's what he had to say after the game against the Steelers.
Into an overall evaluation.
Yeah, and it's a good question because we really didn't have him a lot of camp. He was hurt. So we didn't get to see him at Kansas City this week, and so he's probably had maybe half of training camp, if that, somewhere in there. And so you still have to go off the totality of what it is. We understand he's a year 3 player that we have to take the body of work that is taking place in practice against our very good tackles. We got 2 of the best tackles in the league, and that he has to go against. And you take those, and then you take a little bit of what you saw today. Okay, well, what does the health look like? Can he still move? Is it? But I think, look, that's going to be a hard decision for Brad and myself. It is, one way or another. Because that's kind of what you're asking. Is it enough? I don't, and it's hard to say that right now. I mean, this will be a lot of things that we hash out between the 2 of us, the coaching staff, all of it. Like we got to make sure we're seeing it clearly.
That might be as agonizing a decision, and I'm sure it's made by now, and those conversations
He's
have been
making it.
had.
He's going to make the team.
I think he's going to make it too.
Yeah.
But just the point, Bray, that we're even having those conversations on James Houston goes to show you how deep this roster is.
Yeah, 100% how deep this roster is and how much of an enigma James Houston still is. He got those 8.5 sacks in 9 games 2 years ago. Like, just think, he got them 2 years ago. Then they played a whole season without them because he was injured. He didn't get a chance to kind of round into form, and now here we are. He's injured in training camp yet again going into year 3. So you really don't know what his progression is. What is he? Is he going to be some version of that first year and a little bit better, or is he going to take regression steps because he hasn't been on the field? So it is a tough decision because what we saw in 2022, hella good, man. That looked like something that we could have on this team, like something that could help Aiden on the other side. But as years have stacked on, he's stacked on injuries, maybe lack of being out there, confidence in what he's going to do, and maybe they didn't see what they saw in 2022.
Don't forget they lost Kaminsky for the year. He's on IR. Agude, who was a leading tackler in the preseason, they let him go. That was agonizing for them. He might be a practice squad player.
And by the way, Agude, he's one of the guys that Dave Burkett believed was going to make it in his final 53.
He had 11 defensive
DLs,
players, and it's down to 10 now. So, like he said, remember he said 5 or 6 roster spots were going to be available? I mean, I can't wait to see what the final piece is. One
of the frustrating things with Houston, too, going back to something you said, Bray, is availability.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's an old saying in sports, the best ability is availability. And James Houston is a player. Nobody's ever questioned the talent. People have questioned the reliability, talking about health, and the drive. Because this is a player that is basically a third down only player. And had some work to do to be on the field all 3 downs, or at least be a multi-down player, somebody that you can trust.
Updated defensive chart as of 5 minutes ago.
As of 5 minutes ago.
Depth chart updated. Yep.
Where'd we get this?
Our lads, which one of the best.
They are.
Okay.
Yes.
And
hard to see.
It's got DJ
You can
Reader
zero in
it.
on that.
I'll zoom in for you.
I was just trying to see if we see James Houston's name on it. I'm far away from me. I don't see James Houston's name.
There it is right there, 41.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Third team behind
and
pass.
again, nobody's ever questioned his athletic ability.
Yeah.
You question the reliability and the drive.
He's had one good run, right?
Yeah.
He had one good push for those 8 sacks. Other than that, he's been invisible with injuries and other stuff. So he was a project. Remember, they cut him. They cut him and brought him back. And they were like, oh, thank God we brought him back because he gave us those 8 sacks. But he was originally cut from this team.
You know, and for these guys that are cut, you know, in years past, you just get used to the guys that you see, right? You get used to the guys that you see in your uniform. And you say, oh, if they don't make the team, they'll make the practice squad, right? Well, they'll make the practice squad. Well, many of these players who get cut today for the Detroit Lions will not make the Lions practice squad because they will be on other rosters around the league in the NFL because this team has accumulated as much talent as we have seen one Detroit Lions team accumulate in a long, long time. And I think that's a very healthy spot to be in if you're a Detroit football fan. These are players that are NFL caliber players. I fully anticipate a guy like Shane Zylstra being on an NFL roster. Zonovan Knight is a guy that finds himself. Stephen Gilmore, I think, played well. He's done well. Caden Davis opened some eyes. Mitchell Agude. Some of these guys that are getting cut.
I like Zonovan Knight. I really do.
I do, too. He runs hard. He runs hard. Sutfeld, probably practice squad guy. I'm just not sure. There's so many guys around the league now. You know, I mean, like you mentioned today, Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter is a former first-round pick, is he not?
He beat the Lions.
Second round, maybe?
Second round. Second round. Beat
Same
the
thing.
There's guys
And
out
they traded
there.
a
How about the
receiver.
Zappy Hour? He beat the Lions
Bailey
just a few years
Zappi's
ago.
terrible, man.
I'm just saying, he
I
beat the
understand.
Lions.
I remember.
That's what
That was
I
the
remember.
worst. That was the worst game in
That
this
was 30-0,
era.
wasn't it?
That's when we realized we didn't
We
really
got
have
crushed that
That's
game.
when we realized how bad the kicking was.
Yes.
And that's when Darren McCann was like, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm going for it. I'm going. Yeah, you're funny. You mentioned this, guys, but once again, you talk about how good the Lions' depth chart is now. Zonovan Knight is a guy that can play. Fast running back,
bet he
gets to the
can.
open wing. Like the Jets really liked him. They did not want to give him up last year. Here the Lions are a year later having to release him. Why do you have to release him? Jahmyr Gibbs is arguably the best running back in the NFL, or has a chance to be the best running back in the NFL. David Montgomery is the best short yardage and goal running back in the NFL and short yardage downs. David Montgomery can run with the best and probably is the best of. And then Craig Reynolds is a guy that you trust. When you trust players, where's he going to fit into that? He's not catching passes out of the backfield. And, by the way, we got Sione Vaki to do that now.
Wow.
It's just nowhere for good players to play sometimes at these positions, especially on that offensive side.
Guys, we've got Aaron McCann coming up, U of M beat writer for the Ann Arbor News, MLive, coming up top of the hour. So in about 30 minutes from now, I'm going to take a straw poll in the studio. And of you guys watching on YouTube, let me know, do you want us to continue on with the NFL? Or do you want us to get to Connor Stallions and Untold. We can give our opinion perhaps before we get to Aaron McCann and do that interview. Let me know what you think. We'll do a little producing on the fly here, all right?
Just quick update, if you guys would indulge me once again. Shout out to my boy, Ruben Riley. Used to play right tackle with the University of Michigan Wolverines. When I was there, big number 72, just got his master's in education leadership 4.0. Grand Valley State University. Shout out to my big guy. Went back to school. I got that master's. I see you, Big Rube.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Little Michigan
stuff,
love right there.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a
Funny
break.
as hell, too.
Much more coming up next. But first,
NFL's lead the pack right now.
all right, we'll continue on with the NFL. How about that? We'll do Michigan in just a little bit. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Les Stanford has added those Buick GMC brands to the cars that you can have. That's right. Les Stanford added the Buick GMC brands, and that dealership is in Ferndale. Les Stanford Buick GMC, located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. If you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together. Let's drive.
Let's go over to PremierPetSupply.com. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. Curbside delivery if you need it. And they have nutritionists on call for any questions about your pet. By the way, today is National Dog Day, so if you want to put that out, make sure you tag Premier Pet Supply. Premier Pet Supply, hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Check them out online right now.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness, and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseChevy.com.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or head to SwissINS.com. Let's head over to Bray.
Time to head over to Planet Fitness, because your fitness is essential. With more than 50 locations in Metro Detroit, they are simply the best gym doing it. That's because they feature the squeaky clean gym, the total 30-minute body workout, which you and anyone that signs up for membership, any type of membership, you have access to a trainer. And at the end of the day, they got fitness that fits into your budget. So do yourself a favor and sign up to Planet Fitness.
Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Aaron McCann coming up in about 27 minutes, top of the hour. We'll talk to him about the Connor Stallions, which I watched. I was fascinated by, loved it.
I got some takes.
Yeah, we do have
Final
some takes on that, but plenty of news and notes from the NFL to get to. We're going to go over to Tom Mazaway to get some of that right now, including a man that is the new backup quarterback in Green Bay.
E&E favorite.
Jordan Love.
I'm not going to lead with that yet.
Okay,
but I will.
That's just a deep tease for everybody.
Right. Everyone knows what we're talking about, by the way. All right, by the way, Lions have cut another wide receiver. His name, a guy that they really like, Darius Fountain, now the wide receiver. Yeah. He has been let go. So we will figure out what the heck's going on with that. The Rams are trading their captain, Ernest Jones, linebacker, to the Titans. That one just came down as well. The Chiefs let go of Tony. And if you're watching Hard Knocks, Austin Reed, the backup quarterback for the Bears, they let him go as well. He's a big kid.
They let him go?
They let him go.
Did you just see when he sang the...
Wait, Austin
Reed. Yes, that was it.
He sang the... Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I liked him.
The big kid.
Yep.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, they let him go.
Oh, I liked him.
Right after he sang his
Tyler Badgett. Who's
I love Tyson Badgett.
Tyson Badgett.
I love him.
He can play.
Yes, he can. He won him a couple games last year.
100%.
That kid can play.
Mm-hmm. They have a good team, guys. I know. Listen, I watched them against the Chiefs last night. I know it's the Chiefs. I know they don't care.
Ago, right?
I know it's the preseason. They went up and down the field against Kansas City. They scored on defense, special teams. They have a lot of talent on that team, guys. I told you guys months ago to watch out for this team. I'm sticking with it.
Whoa.
I'm sticking with it.
I was right there in front of you, there with you, and saying the Chicago Bears are going to be way more dangerous than people gave him credit for. They said, I don't trust Caleb Williams. I don't know how you're going to mess it together.
His nails.
It's all, not even that, but just, it's hard to mix everything together in 1 year, get the chemistry. It takes some time. I said, to hell with that. They got some guys that can play, and they got some guys that are hungry to try to prove the narrative of their careers. I'm like, watch out for this squad. And now they got backup players as well that are playing on that level. Ryan, you said you started to like Eberflus when you watched the doc.
I do. I like him and Caleb Williams. I've totally changed my opinion about him.
But I think this is what you're seeing. Like Eberflus maybe behind the scenes knows what he's doing. Because I didn't like Eberflus.
Yeah.
I was always on the bandwagon of getting rid of him.
Think about Eberflus. Think about Eberflus. And Maz, you were right about this last year. When you are a team, and we know this here in Detroit with Dan Campbell, when you are a team and you are bad and you don't win, when those guys play hard for the coach, and I thought this was always a reason why. Who's that special teams coach in Las Vegas that went to?
Rich Bisaccia.
Rich Bisaccia. When those guys played so hard for Rich Bisaccia,
he did.
I knew that was a mistake when they didn't keep him.
They played the Bengals.
Those players in Chicago played their guts out for this guy Eberflus last year at the end of the season, and I think that matters. And if everybody's got the X's and O's. Everybody's got the X's and O's. You need a leader of men, and if you have that, you can't get rid of it. Eberflus seems like he's that guy, or at least in a very difficult second part of the season, and really the whole season. But in a very difficult season, when the season's over, and same thing with Dan Campbell at the end of 22, when you're 1-6, 1-7. When you play for that guy, you know what you have. You have a leader of men. X's and O's aside, everybody's got him. I think you keep the leader, and that's what Eberflus is.
I told you, I keep bringing up Bill Parcells. He almost got canned, guys, after 1 year. He's in the Hall of Fame now. And I know he had some great players, but that's a leader of men right there.
Yeah, I was going to say with Eberflus, man, I think I was going to say what Maz said. He kind of stole my thunder. Maz,
sorry,
you got
buddy.
him right there.
It's all right.
But at the end of the day, you talking about teams and organizations that have traditionally been bad for a long time. You talk about the Bears, you talk about the Lions. Everybody, we live in the now era. Everything is now. You got to be successful now. You got to do this now. You got to make money now. And sometimes, man, it's like you say, you get rid of a coach like a Dan Campbell who was 0-11. And it's, oh, shoot, here we go. Or you can Eberflus. Sometimes it takes those people time to figure it out, because who else got it right in Chicago? Who else got it right in Detroit? Sometimes, like you said, man, just pump the brakes and give somebody something to work with. He got his defense together last year. That's what he does. He's a defensive-minded coach.
How many people called him a clown, Dan Campbell, after his introductory. Remember Joy Taylor,
Right?
And those guys on
I
Fox
didn't say clown,
calling
but I was
him out.
scared.
They were calling him a clown. A lot of people calling him clown.
Wrestler
Now they're kissing his butt because he is one of the best coaches in the NFL. The Titans made. Go ahead, bro.
Can I give you a true dark horse in the NFL? And it's a team that Chicago is playing week 1, and you just mentioned it. The Tennessee Titans. I watched a little bit of them this weekend.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Will Levis doing it for you?
I really like Tennessee. They've got a bunch of guys out there that can play. Tony Pollard at running back, Calvin Ridley at wide receiver.
They got Spears, the running back.
Tyler Boyd,
Spears
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some talent on that team. They play,
tough division.
It
All of a
is
sudden,
tough
that
division.
AFC South is one tough division.
If I had to give you a true sleeper, a team that nobody is talking about that could make the playoffs, I'm going to give you Tennessee.
All right.
Not one person has said Tennessee.
No.
I'm going to give you Tennessee as a true sleeper this year. Maybe not make the playoffs, but I see them as an 8-9 team, 9-8, somebody that can make a little bit of noise there in the AFC.
Are we going to pick them in our one and done pool?
Never.
This year? Never. Okay.
Never going to do
Never
that.
going to pick them.
Never going to do that.
Hey, speaking of the Titans,
I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to blow you. I'm not going to blow your thunder.
You don't like them?
Don't do it, Bray.
No. I promised myself if I didn't have anything to say, I wouldn't say nothing.
Yep.
all right, the Titans did make some moves. They released former first-round pick quarterback Caleb Farley.
Oh.
They let him go, and then they made a trade.
Your favorite.
They traded Ryan and my guy.
Oh, I love Malik.
To
Malik
your favorite
Willis
team.
to the Green Bay Packers. Now the Packers, they know quarterbacks.
Right.
He is backing up Jordan Love. There's no other quarterback on the roster. It's Jordan Love and Malik Willis. 3rd round pick out of Liberty a couple of years ago. Laughing stock because me and Ryan wanted him to be a 1st round pick because we were desperate for a quarterback. It didn't happen. And the kid looked like he was way overmatched. They had to throw him in there. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. But obviously, in the 2 years he's been running, he's impressed enough guys in Green Bay that they're banking on him to be the backup quarterback to Jordan Love.
It's so funny. Last year, Green Bay starts their first black quarterback ever. Now they got a start and a second.
That's what I said, too.
2 brothers in Green Bay?
No way.
That don't even sound right. But you know what? There was always something to Malik Willis. Maz, you and Ryan, and you guys have been praying for the success for me of Malik Williams since 2 years ago. But I think this is showing you some success. I think this is showing some people loved him, some people liked the things that he's done. He's gotten a little better in his career over the years. So jumping in and becoming the backup quarterback for a guy that ain't half bad in Jordan Love, some people are saying some things. So it's not too late. You guys may not be wrong about Malik Williams.
In 10 years,
the updated
watch
depth
out.
chart.
He said in 10 years.
In 10 years, man, with Jordan Love hanging
Why
by,
you guys-
Green Bay does it again.
Why are you guys hating on this guy?
I'm
What did
not
this guy do to you? What did this guy do to you? Huh?
They hating it. You talking about me?
Yeah, all you guys hating on me.
I never said anything about the Malik Willis
They like to
deal.
make fun of us. It's all right.
He's an
Have
idiot.
fun.
I have never once said anything about the Malik Willis situation with you two guys. I stay out of it.
Yeah.
Because y'all my brothers.
Before I was working here, I was a fan of the show, and I just remember y'all would have these conversations about Malik Willis. So I just think it's funny that he went to Maz's favorite team.
100%.
Not my favorite team. I just
when
like
I
them.
saw the news, I thought of you instantly, Maz.
Look, we know.
Thank you.
We know you love the Jets. We know you love the Giants. We know you absolutely love the Lions. But we know secretly Green
love
Bay is
the
your
Packers.
team.
Who else?
Green Bay is your
Who else is my secret team?
Raiders, because you love uniforms back in the
No,
day.
stay in our division.
Oh man, the purple
Of
people
course.
league.
How did I like the purple gang?
You just love the NFC North.
I love the black and blue division. Love them.
I can't get mad.
I got a
can't
glass
get
at
mad
home
that.
from the old. Remember the old gas station glasses I used to get?
Oh, that was when you were in the Central Division.
I had the Central. I still got Tampa Bay on my glass. That glass is still kicking, baby.
I kind of missed that era, and I don't want to get old and nostalgic. I don't want to get too far off. You mentioned those glass cups. I saw an old McDonald's commercial. Remember when McDonald's would tie in their glass cups with the characters, and then the movies they would do? Like,
you know it, man.
That was a fun
You know how many
time.
of them cups I had in my house?
What? And then your parents won't let you mess with
Those
them.
Star
Like,
Wars
don't
glasses
mess
are
with
worth something.
Yeah, 100.
They are.
Everybody's collecting everything. Did you see?
Ask Pete.
I
He's a
wish
garage
Ansel
sailor.
was in to ask him this question. Did you see that card that the Babe Ruth? The one when he called the shot.
Oh, yeah, he got the jersey.
Yeah, the jersey.
The NFT jersey. Now he did it. $24 million is what it went for. Double the highest that
Yep,
to
it's
this
the most
point.
expensive piece of
When he
merchandise
called the shot,
available.
24 million.
Saw that encased, just standing at home plate.
Somebody's going to take that out and wear it somewhere, too.
Right?
George Costanza would wear it.
Yeah, he would.
And white strawberry.
Wear it
top.
right Nothing but a out.
fat man
Anyway,
with little
look what
legs.
the Patriots did. They got rid of Bailey Zappi, but they got rid of a kicker in Chad Ryland that they drafted in the 4th round last year. That was Bill Belichick. Remember, Bill
That was his
Belichick was
send-off.
running the controls?
Right. Yep.
He drafted a kicker in the 4th round. They cut him today, and Joey Sly is now the kicker in
New England.
In New England.
Joey
Green Bay
Sly
cut Anders
moved
Carlson, so he is gone. Who's the kicker in Green Bay now, Pete?
Oh, I forgot.
Greg Joseph.
Mike Joseph.
Greg Joseph is now the kicker, former Viking.
Is
in
there
Green Bay.
anyone can answer this question? Pete, Maz, KG, Ryan. Has there been any been cut so far that you're like, ooh, I wonder if we have a chance at that, or I hope we might make a move for that, or anybody interested?
Nobody that I. That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a great question, and nobody comes to mind.
Yeah. Maybe Noah Brown. That's it. That's it for me.
Nobody comes to mind.
Okay.
Maybe Allen Robinson as a name.
So wide receivers.
As a name. Because I think you're only thin at wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think that's the only position where you're truly like, one guy goes down, you need some help.
I agree.
And that's a guy that's kind of been there and done that.
Yeah.
You're basically counting on these players to be healthy for 17 games and beyond.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's a reality in today's NFL. I think you play 15 games. It's like playing a full season these days.
Okay.
So I think Allen Robinson is the guy that I'd like to keep an eye out on. You know, and you mentioned the kickers too.
Yeah.
Are we comfortable with Jack
Yes.
Bates?
That-
Jack Bates?
I'm
Braylon,
totally comfortable.
That is the exact words
I
that were going
agree.
to come out of my mouth.
I agree.
That is the exact words that were going to come out of my mouth.
Bring it to me.
Are you comfortable with Jake
Tell him,
Bates?
You're damn right I'm comfortable with them.
man.
Okay.
You're damn right I'm comfortable with them.
Tell me the things.
I love what he did in the UFL. I love how he made this team. I love how he beat out all the competition. They paid him the money. He earned his keep. Sure, he missed an extra point. He missed a 31-yard field goal. But I could try. Once we cross the 50, you can kick a field goal now.
Yeah.
You can kick a field goal. You could try to kick a field goal. What if it's late in the game and Goff gets you to the 50-yard line, 48-yard line, and you got one shot? Are you going to throw a Hail Mary, or are you going to try a field goal to try to tie that game or win that game?
Yeah.
Now you got Jake Bates, and he can do it. They're indoors 90% of the time right now, and more stadiums are going to be indoors. Cleveland wants an indoor stadium. Chicago wants an indoor stadium. You got the kicker for an indoor stadium. I just say one guy, Brandon Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboys, is one of the most valuable players out of all the kickers in the league. I would take him.
kick that
Even over
66-yard.
Justin Tucker,
Yes.
I would take Aubrey. That kid and Jake Bates, I'm hoping is the same trajectory.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, you
I believe you.
absolutely
I
have to be
trust you.
automatic inside of 50.
I trust Maz.
Just automatic. Is Jacob Turner anywhere? Or
James
Turner? Oh, he is nowhere. I mean, he was at Green Bay. They let him go.
cut, yeah.
I haven't heard his name since.
See, that's a player that I think is a really good kicker.
He might make it
He's
eventually.
a national. He's got the leg. He's got the. He's been in big games. He's kicked for a national championship.
He won him the Ohio State game.
Yes,
he
he did.
kicked the field goal against Alabama that you needed. He's got the guts,
Big
man.
deal. He's a big deal.
He's got the guts. Maybe Jim Harbaugh will bring him up to L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bates will be okay.
They got Dicker the kicker anyway.
Speaking of-
They're okay.
Jim Harbaugh is figuring this thing out, man. Like, it's so funny giving this guy all this credit now, but I give credit where the hell I see credit and where it's deservingly due. Did you see what he did after practice? Was it yesterday, Maz? I know you're huge into this stuff. Guy, one of the linebackers one of the offensive linemen on the team, his father almost died last year of a massive heart attack. Did you see that?
I saw it. Yeah.
Like, that's how you. Like, I mean, I wish it didn't have to be extreme as that, but he's doing better now. One of the guy's fathers had a heart attack last year. He almost died. Jim let him go back and to see him during training camp at some point. Now he's doing better. Jim surprised the lineman by having him and his mom, or the father and the mother, and he's got this motorized type of wheelchair, look expensive, Chargers probably covered it. They had him surprise him, come speak to the team. Like, that's how you
Spoke to the
bring
whole team.
players in. Like,
Yeah.
now I got to go home and say, like, yo, mom, like, Jim cares about it. Like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, like, these are the things you do. Like, he's bringing that college culture and how it started to turn around in Ann Arbor. He started to be open to the players, started getting cool with the players. He's doing that in the NFL. Like, that's not what Jim was when he was with the 49ers.
Yeah.
That's not what he was. And so now I'm seeing a difference. Like, watch out for the Chargers this year. You talking about playing for a coach. Well, what better guy and who hotter coach to play for right now?
And the basic gist of that, why he did that, is he wanted this guy who just in a moment's notice almost lost his life to talk to the players about what a gift each day is and to work hard and give it all you got, because you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow or not. I mean, it's an absolutely great message that I think, whether you play football or not, everybody should hear. It was really well done.
You got to watch out, though, man. It's just a little bit of a tearjerker because the guy starts to cry as he's telling these kids, like, live each day. I was like, who's cutting onions?
Yeah,
right.
Who's cutting onions?
One signing that happened too, Maz, not to steal your thunder, but just to continue on with some of the NFL transactions, Kansas City signed wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, and this is a player
Give
to
him
me
another chance.
that has completely fallen off the face of the earth. This player to me was so dynamic for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and since 4 years ago, maybe, he has not been even a remotely reliable player in the NFL. Remotely even reliable.
Chiefs are desperate for receivers. Like I said, they just got rid of Tony. They got rid of another guy that I was telling you about earlier. And I don't know. If they signed him, I got to believe that Andy Reid thinks he can get something out of him.
This is a good move. Like, hear me out on this. This is a good move. The last time Juju Smith-Schuster got serious, because remember, when they brought him in, they didn't pay him very much with the Chiefs. They basically said, hey, look, I just talked about this. They say, hey, look, you come here, we're giving an opportunity. You have success here, you'll get paid. Well, that's what happened. He leaves KC after being a Super Bowl winner. He goes to New England, which is a you-know-what show. Bill Belichick's still in. Their system is falling apart. Like, the Patriots stink all the way up and down and around. How can you have focus in what they were the last 2 seasons? So now he's reverting back to just not caring, because it doesn't seem like anybody else at the Patriots care. Now he gets brought back to Andy Reid, a team he had success last, a team that he knows and they know him. This could be a very good move for the Chiefs. They didn't have anybody consistent last year until Rashee Rice at the end of the season. And we know he's probably going to end up missing some games later on. This could end up being a secret low-key move for the Chiefs, man. I'm all here for the move.
Almost had 1,000 yards.
When he had like 9-16 and some change, something like that. This could be a good move for them and him. Revitalize his career, maybe say, hey, look.
Do you know how hard it is, like, to not only win back-to-back, but to be a three-peat champion?
It doesn't happen.
I think we take the Chiefs for granted. As football fans, as sports fans, what the Kansas City Chiefs are attempting to do this year is so improbable, especially in today's salary cap era.
We lose a lot of good players.
I think we should celebrate them a little bit more than we do, because I think if you had to pick, if your life was on the line and you had to pick one team to win the Super Bowl, you would probably choose the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Would you not?
Absolutely.
And I think there's something to be said for this consistency of excellence that the Kansas City Chiefs have kind of been for the last, 7, 8 years?
Yeah. They're a dynasty right now.
You know what I mean? Even prior to Mahomes with Alex Smith as their quarterback.
Good. They got to semis a couple times.
Really great organization. With a superior head coach, and I just think we take for granted the season in which we're about to watch.
The problem is we live in this now generation. We was kind of alluding to it 40 minutes or so ago. We live in this now generation where we were already looking to replace Patrick Mahomes, as we just said that he's probably going to be better than Brady. He is better than Brady. It's always about who's next. Here comes Josh Allen. Every year it's Josh Allen's time. Josh Allen's better than Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes. This is going to be the year. Why are we still comparing Josh Allen to Patrick Mahomes? Oh, then it's Burrow. No, it's Burrow. It's Burrow here. Burrow's taking over. Burrow's a new guy. Burrow got there, but he didn't win.
Yeah.
He didn't win. Like, why do we keep trying to supplant? In the words you said, everybody, it's a now generation. You're looking to replace the new guys up. Like you said, look, they've been doing this for a long time now. Andy Reid, at some point, you got to put his name up there and stop playing games. Patrick Mahomes, still the guy. But yet and still, who's better than this year? I think C.J. Stroud's going to have a better year. Every year it's like, what do I got to do? Like, what do I have to do? It was more love back in the day. Like, when I played, we knew who those guys were, and we treated them as such.
Right.
We have never seen a three-peat champion in the NFL.
Not even Brady.
Not even Montana.
Pittsburgh in the 70s, Montana in the 80s, Dallas in the 90s, Denver in the late and then New England. They've been to 9 Super Bowls or whatever with Brady.
Never
once three-peated.
Yeah.
You know, when you listen to those teams, New England, Dallas, San Francisco, Denver, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh doesn't even have a back-to-back, Maz, if I'm correct.
No, they don't.
No, they do.
Wait.
They do not have a back-to-back championship.
No, they don't.
Pittsburgh, no.
Oh, they do 78, 79.
Yeah, they're back-to-back.
79 and 80. 79 and 80.
Yeah.
And also
The
75,
two.
76.
Yeah.
I said they didn't have a triple is what I said.
They had 2 doubles.
They didn't have a back-to-back.
All right, look, it was a bad take. It was a bad take.
They cut his mic off after that.
It's all right.
Thank you, man.
You weren't born yet.
Right.
See that? Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
But no, I
win them all.
But again, if you look at those teams that maybe Pittsburgh in the 70s, I really don't have that depth of knowledge to go back to Pittsburgh in the 70s.
They were amazing.
But I can go back to San Francisco in the 80s.
Brady's got cheated.
I can go back to San Francisco in the 80s. In 1991, the Giants beat Buffalo.
5 field goals to beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Again,
5 field goals.
Again, they had a great opportunity to three-peat. Denver did not have an opportunity to three-peat because John Elway retired.
Yeah.
New England, Pittsburgh was coming on. They had a good opportunity, but not a great
I would
opportunity.
think New England and the Steelers are the 2 most dominant dynasties.
Yeah.
In forever football. In football history.
I'm just thinking of teams that won back-to-back titles that actually had a legitimate chance that third year to win the three-peat. Like Denver never had the opportunity to win a three-peat championship because Elway and Terrell Davis and all those guys, they were gone after that second one.
Yep.
Dallas and San Francisco kept battling.
Just think what Kansas City could have done if they were able to keep their players. Let's just say Tyreek Hill was able to re-sign with this team. They might have won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
If Tyreek Hill is still on that team, they could win 4 in a row.
Then they don't have money to pay certain other individuals, though.
Well, that is why
defensive side.
Right. That's why it makes it more impressive.
True.
You can't keep the players you want to keep.
And that's why it also makes sense to have the quarterbacks have their own salary cap.
But you know what the equality, the equal is to that? It's impressive nowadays to win a national championship. Like at the rate Alabama was winning and Georgia was winning, Ryan, in terms of you got an NIL, you have transfer portal, you have blah, blah, blah. To be able to consistently recruit guys, Alabama, what they did, it never be done again.
Yeah.
It's similar.
No doubt. I totally agree with you. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, expected to be joined by Aaron McCann, U of M beat writer, Ann Arbor News. The Connor Stallions Untold documentary dropped today. We both watched it.
Yeah,
pretty good stuff.
By the way, the Untold about Steve McNair, I wasn't impressed with.
I was not impressed
with everything I knew already.
They didn't give anything different?
No, they didn't give me anything different.
I was not that impressed with that one either. I did watch it, and I was saddened by just how something. I think Jeff Fisher said it best. Not to ruin it for anybody. I can make you an argument something was up, and I can make you an argument that it was as it's told. You know what I mean? Did somebody else have something to do with this murder?
It might have been the guy that sold the gun to the
Might have been
girlfriend.
the guy. It might not have been.
Might have been.
I can make
Other
you an
than that,
argument.
what the hell's the difference?
Right.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
I think you would like justice and closure. But nonetheless, he said, I can make you an argument that something happened, and I can make you an argument.
What a year that Titans team had.
Man.
And it all started with the miracle. With the Music City Miracle.
Yeah.
And they almost won the damn Super Bowl. They're a foot away from beating the Rams.
Yeah. They went undefeated that year. It started with game 1.
Yeah. They had a squad,
first year in the stadium, you go undefeated, and then you go on to the Super. It was wild. It was wild what he did. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be a cynic. Was Jeff Fisher just laying it on a little bit thick? a little bit extra thick, or did I read into it too much? I know you guys are hopeless romantics, like myself.
You did not. You were not laying it on too thick. I watched it and I thought,
was like,
I like Jeff Fisher.
Come on, Jeff. That's a bit much.
I like Jeff Fisher. Do you know who also likes Jeff Fisher?
Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, that's facts.
The former Michigan Panthers head coach for a year.
I wonder, did he pay for that documentary?
I know. I felt that right from the start. Not to minimize his relationship with Steve McNair or his love for McNair.
I thought he did a nice job, but yeah, you're right. He put it on. That's okay.
I think you do have love for somebody like Jeff Fisher was enriched and was allowed, for lack of a better way to say it, to coach in Tennessee as long as he was allowed to coach in Tennessee because of Aaron McNair's greatness.
Yeah,
that's right. Great call. Great call.
So when you have somebody that changes your life for the better, you do love that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So I do not disagree that Jeff Fisher loves Steve McNair and feels like some kind of way about him, but it was a little thick.
Like, I ain't gonna lie, like he kind of sold me as an actor. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a small.
He was a good actor.
He was. Like in a small role.
He looked
I could
good.
see him in
He was sitting there, very comfortable.
He could be in Yellowstone. He had the whole Yellowstone kind of background and atmosphere.
It was a nice set.
He had a great role as an NFL coach. So
whatever cabin he was in was fine.
It's a great chair he was sitting in. Loved that chair. Loved it.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. Much more coming up next. We're talking about Connor Stallions and what we learned, and did your perspective change about Michigan and the sign-stealing investigation after the Netflix documentary dropped today? Are you going to watch? But first, a message from KDK Law, dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10-plus years of experience, 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
And someone who's also got your back is Guardian Alarm. What happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. This technology has been proven to work, and these people have been proven to care. So call 1-800. That's 1-800. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We're coming right back.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness, and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home but feeling in a financial pinch? Well, Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs, guys. I said $5,000. Give them a call today. Mark White and Associates, 248-290-8242. Visit them online at markwhitesells.com. Again, 248-290-8242. Mark White and Associates, to make your dreams come true.
And let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Several locations around the Metro Detroit area, several more around the country. Look for one near you. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. It is wicked awesome.
Real quick before we jump into this Connor Stallions doc, you know what I love about Dan Campbell? I love that he can't act. Like I love that he's uncomfortable on the camera. You know why?
Yeah.
You got to be leery of coaches that love the camera. Like love that camera because they start to worry about themselves, the ego driven. Dan looks uncomfortable as heck on camera. You know what that tells me? That man is studying that game plan every single day, every single night. So shout out to the awkwardness on camera. Keep it up.
Right, no doubt. Absolutely. Hey, let's talk a little Michigan football now. Connor Stallions, Untold. It came out last night, or midnight it came out. Earlier this morning I watched it. Aaron McCann is the U of M beat writer for the Ann Arbor News and Live. He's with us now. Aaron, how you doing, my friend?
Good afternoon, guys. Good to be with you.
Great to be with you. So you watched this documentary, and your first reaction was what?
Couple things. The news out of this thing, I guess, is Connor finally talking. You know, he hasn't spoken since the news came out last October that this investigation was about. Attempts were made. He declined all interview requests. So to me, just him kind of laying out his view of how things went down last fall. We hadn't heard from him, so for him to come out and say he claimed that he didn't advance scout, I think is the, kind of the banner headline of all of this. Whether you agree with him or not, that's his side of the story. To me, maybe the most interesting nugget out of this whole thing was that Jim Harbaugh actually gave him a game ball after the win in Iowa in 2022. That was something we had never heard before, and I think it just goes to show how well respected or well thought of he was with that Michigan coaching staff the last couple of years.
Aaron, I could not believe the depth at how elaborate this was.
It was wild.
From the hours of filming his own signals and putting this manifesto together.
Pictures.
I found him to be smarter than everybody else. I like as a military officer. As somebody who was so consumed with this, for many people, the way he started in this sign stealing was at Navy. The offensive assistant says, decipher the other team's signals. Yeah. So that's what he did. There to me seemed to be an undertone that this is so prevalent in college football. They ultimately changed the rules because of it.
Yeah, and that's kind of been his argument since the beginning. Like, he wasn't the only one in college football doing this, and this is a topic that's come up in previous years. And articles been written about the art of sign stealing in college football. We had heard rumors, back in like 2017-18 when Ohio State was beating the brakes off of Michigan that maybe they had Michigan signs. So it goes on in college football. There's no doubt about it. The idea of sign stealing itself is not against the rules. But what the NCAA is alleging that Connor Stallions did, and what he kind of explained, or what went down in that documentary last night, is that he kind of went above and beyond what's allowed. To send friends and associates to games and shoot opposing team sidelines and send back the film. That's technically not allowed, but you can go on TV copy and pull things from that and be fine. So it's a weird situation. It's one that I don't think a lot of people truly understand the heart of. But Connor was in an interesting predicament. In that documentary, he said that eventually his goal was to eventually become a head coach at the college level. He felt like this was kind of his way in, and the Michigan coaches, welcomed him with open arms because, like I said, they've been struggled for so long. Jim Harbaugh couldn't get over the hump, couldn't beat Ohio State, and now all of a sudden you've got someone who's telling you what the opposing team is going to run play after play. It's hard not to listen to him.
Aaron, shout out to you. Appreciate you coming on the show, brother. Edwards here. Am I wrong in my assessment of this? Look, as it relates to the national championship, look, we won fair and square. 7 games left in the season. You saw the energy put on, saw the distractions that the NCAA or the Big Ten and Tony Petitti, we obliged them throughout the season, and we had the run we were supposed to. I'm done with it. I don't argue anymore. But am I right to say this? The NCAA and the reason why they can't further pursue the situation and why they still are trying to keep Michigan in the headlines is because they illegally obtained the information that they eventually came out with, and they obtained that information from the Ohio State, Ryan Day's brother, or whatever they got it from. But Ohio State had something to do with it. They can't say where they got the information, so that's where we're stuck. And it's just like being in court. This is inadmissible, if you will. I think that's where I'm at with it. Could that be correct?
It could be, and that's the rumor and innuendo that's been going around for months now. It's been unsubstantiated just based on reporting, firsthand and everything else. We have no smoking gun necessarily pointing us that way.
Yeah.
But that's been on, it's been going around for a long time. To Ryan Day's defense, Ohio State, they denied it. But you got to think that, look, stuff like this doesn't just magically come out of thin air, right? Someone has to plan it. Someone has to send it into the NCAA. And what has been reported is an independent third party is the one that kind of plopped this information down on the NCAA's desk and said, hey, look at this. You should look into Michigan. Now, I will say on that token, Michigan itself didn't do themselves any favors with the other investigation they got themselves in with recruiting violations a couple years ago when Jim Harbaugh kind of, waved his nose and didn't necessarily comply with the NCAA. So that kind of gave them more ammo to say, well, if Michigan isn't complying here, we should go after him here. So Michigan finds themselves in a sticky situation, and they got themselves in the mess with this recruiting stuff, and this certainly didn't help. But look, you can go back and forth. Connor Stallions is the only one stealing signs, as we mentioned. Michigan had their signs stolen years ago, and it's something that they tried throwing back last fall, saying these teams are stealing their signs, even going back to the Big Ten championship game. So it goes on. It's a muddy mess in college football. It always has. It probably will. Look, the ironic thing in all this is I don't necessarily think that Michigan needed to do this. You saw what happened after Connor Stallions left the program last October, after Jim Harbaugh was suspended. Michigan still won the game. I mean, they still beat Penn State pretty handily. They beat Ohio State without question. And they won a Big Ten title and a national championship because they had a really good team with a lot of talented players. And it's almost unfortunate for the Michigan program having this sign stealing stuff kind of loom over it when you're coming off a national championship.
And therein lies the question, and I'm sorry to double back on this, but therein lies the question, what did Jim know? Like, look, at the end of the day, I'm a realist. He is the head man of that program. He's supposed to know everything that happens underneath. So if you tell me that, I'll say, okay, I agree with you and I understand. But the real question is, what did he know? Because if I'm Jim Harbaugh and I see my team is this good, and I see where we're at and I see where we're going, then I'm going to tell Connor Stallions, if I'm aware of what's going on, pipe down this week. I don't need you to go to Central Michigan this week. I don't need you to do that this week. I don't need you to scout this team anymore because I feel like my team has arrived, and I think we've played that line or gone over that line a little bit too long. I think we're good. That's just what a logical individual would do if he was so in the know.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Jim truly didn't know the depths of which Connor went to get all this information. Look, you gotta remember these coaching staffs and this Braylon more than anyone. Like there's so many people on these staffs, especially nowadays with the analysts and the GAs and everyone else. There are a lot.
Everybody's got assistants.
Yeah, 100%. And so it wouldn't shock me at all if Jim wasn't necessarily in the know of everything that was going on. Maybe he knew Connor as the sign stealer guy, the one who dissected tape and got the information, but it's possible he didn't know that people were going out, filming games, and sending them back. Now, some of the other assistants, whether it's the coordinators or the low-level guys, you don't know, and that's the question I think the NCAA is trying to get to at this point. Who knew, how high did this go, and then they're going to work from there. Important to point out, a former Michigan assistant, Chris Partridge, which sounds like Connor worked with pretty heavily, Partridge coach of linebackers, he's facing a potential level 1 violation as part of this investigation. So that's it. That's what the NCAA is trying to investigate. They're trying to figure out. It sounds like a lot of folks on Michigan's side didn't cooperate. And then you've had a bunch of the coaches leave since then from the NFL, and obviously once they're gone, they're not going. There's no incentive to cooperate either.
Talking to Aaron McCann, U of M beat writer for Ann Arbor News, MLive, covers the Wolverines. And Aaron, I want to stick with that point just about Michigan. I did not see anything in this documentary or this television show, however you want to characterize it, that implicates any smoking gun towards Michigan. There's no text messages. There's no email chain. There's no nothing. There's no paper trail on finances other than a few Venmos to some randos out there. I mean, there is nothing that implicates Michigan.
There's no video footage behind those Venmos.
Yeah. So
did they pay for his flights and stuff?
They did not
visa?
pay for.
They
his,
did not.
They did not pay for his flights. Okay. At least that was not in any documentary. That was not in this documentary.
Oh no, it was Uncle T.
Right. Yeah.
That's who it was, Uncle T.
You know. So what happens to Michigan? I know they got this letter of notice of allegations or what have you, but what is out there currently that Michigan fans should or should not worry about?
You nailed it. Right now, Connor Stallions has kind of been the focal point of this whole thing. The school itself is facing a potential level 1 violation for basically an inability to kind of oversee the program. Whenever something like this goes down, it's more than just the individual involved. Oftentimes the head coach gets in trouble because of it. The institution will face a penalty, and that's kind of what's going to go down here. If in fact Michigan's found, in violation of these penalties, it's possibly face additional probation. Heavy fines wouldn't surprise me. Vacation of games is a possibility. I don't know if the NCAA is willing to go as far as stripping titles from them. I don't think they're in the business of doing that currently. But, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Jim Harbaugh eventually, faces another show cause penalty just because he's head coach. While he may not necessarily have known what the depth of which was going on, you are still responsible for your program. And you saw that with the recruiting violations in that separate NCAA investigation Michigan just wrapped up. That, while he was part of it, he didn't know all of it, but he still has to face the punishment for it all. So the university faces potential, level 1 violations. You got to remember the way the NCAA views all this stuff is it kind of in collaboration. So Michigan just got done with that recruiting violation investigation. That could weigh in this as well. So Michigan could be considered a quote unquote repeat violator, which would maximize the penalty here. So it's a lot going on. They were just served a notice of allegations, as you pointed out. They're going to have 90 days to respond. I would be surprised if this thing is decided. If the penalty's handed down this fall, it's probably going to stretch into next spring and next summer. And we'll probably still be talking about this time next year.
Aaron, it's Maz. Thanks for coming on. Everyone should have a friend like Connor Stallions. All right, I'm a Jersey guy. I love The Sopranos. I love all that kind of stuff. You don't rat your friends out. You shut up. You take it to the grave. This guy is not going to say a thing. And I want to know, did Netflix pay him to be on here? How much was he paid? And how is he being taken care of? I know he's working as a high school coach right now
Dave
here
Portnoy.
In Michigan. What's your, like I said, I wish Connor Stallions was my buddy.
Yeah, that loyalty runs deep, right? He's a former military guy, and he's a perfect guy you want in the staff, right? Like you said, he's not going to rat. He's going to go to the grave for Michigan, and that's kind of what he's done. Yes, he kind of told his side, but he hasn't necessarily thrown anyone else under the bus, whether they deserve to be or not. So that's kind of that's his MO. As for his participation in this thing, I got to imagine he was paid something. I don't know what it is. I can tell you some other people who were interviewed in this thing didn't receive a dime.
Right.
So but I got to think he's making something. He's been without a job for a while now. I'm assuming he wouldn't just do this for free, especially when he hasn't granted any other interviews. But no, this is a big deal for him. He's been in the spotlight for a long time. You knew some type of reality show like this was coming down the pike. I can remember, last November and December, the joke was, this is eventually going to become a Netflix documentary. And sure enough, a few months later, they jumped on the bandwagon and made something of it.
Yeah, Aaron, KG in the sound booth. And I wanted to ask you about Sharon Moore in this situation. Of course, we did find out that he had some kind of communication with Connor Stallions. Text communications were turned over to the NCAA. But I just wanted to get your take on what is his position in all this going forward this season, and what should he worry about going forward with this thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask him, he's not bothered by any of this stuff. We jokingly asked him yesterday during his press conference if he planned on watching the Connor Stallions Netflix documentary, and he said, no, I've got film to watch. So he doesn't seem too bothered by it. He's had to juggle a lot this offseason. You had off-season arrests from the assistant coaches. You had some transfers come in and out. You had a lot going on. You had investigations to the NCAA. And to his credit, he's handled it relatively well. As far as this the science investigation, he is facing potential level 2 violation, not the most serious of the world. But yes, part of the notice of allegations that were sent to Michigan was kind of a knock on Sharon for deleting a series of text messages with Connor. We don't know the contents of them, but I got to think, since it's not a level 1 and just a level 2, that they probably weren't that serious. My guess is Sharon just overreacted when news broke last October that this came out, and probably thought, well, I should probably get rid of communications with them no matter what. So my guess is it wasn't that serious, but I guess we'll find out in due time. Sharon was asked recently about those text messages, and he said he's looking forward to them being released. So it doesn't seem like he's too bothered by it.
Aaron, how the heck did he pull off the CMU thing? I mean, really, that is like it's the part that makes me laugh the most. It reminds me of, I said it before, it reminds me of Bobby Valentine, the former manager of the Mets, who got tossed out of a game, went into the locker room, the clubhouse, put on a pair of sunglasses and a fake mustache, and came back out to the dugout. That part really, it mind boggles me how he pulled that off.
It's funny you bring that up because I'm a Central Michigan grad myself.
I know you are.
Last fall, and I remember calling people up there that I have contacts with that still talk to me, and it was all shut. No one said anything. No one was responding. That's when I knew something was up. And then this kind of continued on, and you saw the photos, and you see the comments made. And even that documentary that just came out yesterday or today, he didn't outright. If you notice, he didn't outright deny being out there.
No.
Yeah, he did.
He said, "I don't remember."
Does that look like me?
Doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
Right, and look, and Dave Portnoy even said, yeah, he told me it was him on the sideline. So that's not going to help his case with the NCAA. It's not going to help CMU's case with the NCAA because they're in hot water themselves for being involved with this. So it's just an extra layer to this whole thing. It's been a weird story from the get-go, unprecedented, something we haven't seen in college football, and that was just a kind of a cherry on top.
Yeah, no, you see, that was the one thing that did bother me about this thing is because you knew who was the head coach of CMU. You knew where he was a couple years before that. So that was the one where I kind of started saying, all right, I got some questions I got to find some answers to because I know what's coming. But I just thought also it was interesting the beginning of the doc, the Ohio State thing. And he's talking about the first time he saw them, it was Navy and it was Ohio State. He said, I got to get after those guys. I got to do whatever I got to do to keep those guys for winning. I was like, oh, great. He's telling on himself. It's over. Jesus. Mike Barrett, only football player that they showed in the doc. I wonder how that went. I wonder how many players that they asked before.
Hey, Aaron, I can't let you out of here without asking you about Saturday, man. It is college football season is here.
All
Michigan,
right.
the defending national champions. I think they have replaced 10 starters on offense. What will this team look like early, and how likely is it that they will contend for a Big Ten championship and a playoff spot?
Well, they're going to be a work in progress, especially I think the offensive side of the ball particularly. They haven't figured out the quarterback situation yet. I think Alex Orji is the front runner. He's probably the most likely guy to take snaps. But they've got a whole new offensive line working together. They got some some interesting guys at receiver who I think could be stars one day, but they're still young. And they've got a really good tight end in Colston Loveland, who I'm looking forward to watching play. But the defense is going to, I think, have to carry the load early on. I mean, this is a stacked defense. And while the unit last year finished number one, maybe statistically, I think this year's unit has just so many more dogs, more players. I mean, you've got 3 or 4 potential first-round picks. You've got a couple of preseason All-Americans in Mason Graham and Will Johnson. So the defense is going to be very good. It's just a matter of whether the offense can move the football and score some points and kind of keep the defense fresh. But as far as competing for Big Ten championships and national titles, I think they'll be in their hunt for the Big Ten. I'm predicting 9-3. I just don't know if they have the all-around team like in Ohio State or Oregon to do it. But I think at the end of the year they'll be in the hunt for the Big Ten championship, and if they can go 9-3 or even go 10-2, I think that should be enough to get them into the playoff. And then you never know at that point, right? They get a couple of favorable matchups and move their way into semis or a rematch in the national championship.
Great stuff, man. We can't thank you enough for your time here. Aaron McCann, thanks so much. Follow Aaron on X at Aaron McCann. Check him out. MLive, Ann Arbor News. Thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to seeing what you have to say on Saturday.
Thanks, guys.
All right, you got it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are going to take a break. When we come back, more Michigan, talk more college football. We've got to talk Tigers as well. This baseball team is 500 for the first time in several months. We'll get to that next, but first, a message from...
morning or show on the weekends and the new pregame show. Woodward and Maine on Game Day Detroit. You're waking up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all insider information on the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions, with insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster. I can concur on that. And rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit, every game day, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward and Maine. Also, Lions pregame show sponsored by Sabbath Coffee and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Every game day, Neil Rule and Sean Belegian will bring you the best Lions pregame show Sunday 10 to noon here on Woodward Sports, giving you all the up-to-date injury reports, fantasy sit and starts, and Detroit Lions knowledge, delivering it only as Neil and Sean can. Join us for every home game live at the second best bar in Detroit, your official guide to the Lions game day in Detroit. Your number one sports network is Woodward Sports. Over to the great Kenny G.
And of course, after the game, we got you covered as well, man. It's the watch party with the heavyweights. Join Woodward Sports and the heavyweights live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township for the biggest watch party in Metro Detroit. And quick tip, the pizza out there at Hayes Social, fire, man. You definitely want to get out there. The fellas are going to go live just before kickoff, and you are going to get all of their reactions during the game. The watch party is always a great time. But of course, you got the post-game show too that will also be held at Hayes Social with Stick and Anson. Both events sponsored by Sabbath Coffee. And post-game show. Tune in.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's number one sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseChevy.com.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
On our injury expert, the Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins Big D Energy every Tuesday. He's with us on Thursdays. Trust the guy that DMAC and Braylon trust. That's Dr. Jeff Pierce. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call him 248-426-9944. Dr. Jeff Pierce.
Soroki's Nashville. It is only for a limited time back at Soroki's. I'm telling you, that Nashville hot is amazing. The pizza and the tenders, but you got to check out those curly fries as well as the chicken tender sandwich. And you know what's coming next. It's the pizza, it's the wings, but it's the crispy wings. It's also that honey biscuit. That honey biscuit is where it's at. That honey biscuit, I repeat, is where it's at. Soroki's is popping up all over metropolitan Detroit. You know why? They're fire right now, man. You better jump on board.
No doubt. Absolutely. I wish I had some Soroki's right now.
Man, what?
Guys, I do not want... We've got an interview coming up talking about the Prep Kickoff Classic. It's high school football at its finest, Wayne State this weekend. We're going to get to that in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I would like to talk a little Detroit Tigers if I could. Because I just want to ensure that this day does not go by without discussing them. Number one, I know it's not the World Series, but I do think it's wholly important that they play winning baseball over the last month and a half of the season, and what that could do for this team, even if it signifies to ownership, hey, we're close. Hey, we got something going on here.
There's a core.
For this team to not be 500 for the last 3 months and to fight and claw and scratch. We talk about it in football, right? When you play for your manager, you play for your head coach. I feel like 3 weeks ago there were 7 games under 500. And to get back to the 500 mark, I thought, and get a come from behind win last night, which was not easy. They scored 5, I think, in the 7th or 6th or something like that.
2 home runs last night. Ty Madden, the rookie, got his debut, and 66 and 66, bro. And they're doing it with 2 starting pitchers.
Yeah.
2 starting pitchers.
I don't even know who the second one is.
It's
Montero?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Montero.
I feel like he's an opener too.
Well, no,
you know what I mean?
He's a starter.
Yeah.
He's a starter. He's had a great second half. They're right there, man, for best records in the second half since the All-Star break. They're right there. The Oakland A's are even playing above 500 ball in the second half. But take your hat off to A.J. Hinch and this team. They play hard, man, and I'm very happy that Spencer Torkelson is up here, and he is starting to get his stroke back. Home run last night, another couple of hits. It's great, man. It's great to see. Again, they're playing the worst team in baseball history, but they did what they had to do. They swept the 4 games from them. The Angels come in now. Guess what? You got to sweep them too. They stink.
Yeah.
You got to finish them up too. It's going to be a fun week here at Comerica Park. The Red Sox are in at the end of the week. Get on down to see them.
Who are fading.
Yeah,
they are.
They're fading.
Tailspin, yeah.
Here's where I am with the Detroit Tigers. I think they've done something that I didn't think was possible. They put me in a situation where they cannot disappoint me the rest of the season. There's no disappointment. I'm only looking up. I see some player development. I see some young guys starting to look like players you can build a core with and build a team with next year. I start to see looks like Sky Harris may know a little bit more than we gave him credit for early on. Still some moves I don't agree with, but at the end of the day, you're not going to agree with everybody's moves. I don't agree with all the rules Brad Holmes has made. So give him a little air, give him a little space. And A.J. Hinch, like you said, whether you want to put an asterisk by it or not, A.J. Hinch is a great general manager. You saw what he did down there with the Houston Astros. So we know what his pedigree is. They're 500. They've been fighting. We've talked about them all year, whether they couldn't get the one hit games or the 1-point games, the 1-score games, had the pitching, didn't have the hitting, but they fought back. And these guys have gotten better and better and better. So they can't disappoint me. I know they're not going to make the playoffs, but I'm appreciative that here we are, much like the Red Wings, down the stretch, you got a shot.
I'll say it. I don't think they're out of the wild card yet.
I'm not doing that to myself. I'm just not going to do it to myself.
Listen, they are 6.5 games back of this wild card.
They were 3 weeks ago, too.
Yeah. They were 9 games back 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they had about 8 8 teams to jump. Now they're 6.5 games back, and they've got 3 teams to jump.
30 games to go.
There's 30 games to go. Is there a number?
20.
That's what I said.
Yep.
That's what I just wrote down. 20 and 10. 20 and 10 in their last 30. I think that would give them a shot.
Yeah, it does.
I think 20 and 10 gives them a shot to make the wild card. And if you look at their schedule, okay?
It's pretty easy.
Just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
You've got the Los Angeles Angels. Bad team. You have no margin for error. You cannot win the series. You have to sweep a Los Angeles team. Boston is fading. You have to win the series.
Still tough, though.
Still, I think you go 5-1 in the next 6 games. In this 6-game homestand, that's what it'll take to give you a little bit of something. And then you go play San Diego, okay.
Yeah.
See what happens. See if you can win one.
They're real good.
See if you can win one. And then you got 6 games against Oakland and Colorado.
Yeah.
2 bad teams. Oakland is playing better.
Very good.
However, they're the Oakland A's. They have a losing record. If you're going to make the playoffs, you've got to beat Oakland. Colorado is an absolute disaster. They're like 40 games under 500.
Just know that the A's own the Tigers. Know it.
Okay. I'm just laying it out there.
I got you.
You've got 6 games against the Baltimore Orioles. Okay.
Good team.
Good team battling. 6 games. Can you win 3 of them?
Maybe.
Why not?
Why not? And then you've got Kansas City, a team that's up there, the team that you again,
Bobby Witt Jr.
This ain't gonna be lollipop land here, okay? And then you've got Tampa Bay and Chicago White Sox. You have absolutely an opportunity to win 20 of those 30 games.
You do.
I'm telling you right now, if the Detroit Tigers go 20 and 10 and get to 86 wins, they're going to be in the wild card.
I like it.
And I think not only can they do it, I think they just very well might win the next 20 of 30 games and be in a position to be in the wild card. And then you know what you're going to say? Why did we trade Jack Flaherty? Why?
Yeah.
Why did
But
we
you got
trade
Trey Sweeney.
Yeah, it
right?
It turned out for the better.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how good that kid is. We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope he's good. I hope I can eat crow.
Right.
I hope he's good.
Did he hit the homer last night, or was that Young?
That was
I think it was Sweeney.
Young got the double, and 2 home runs by Meadows
and
Tork.
Yeah,
Tork bomb.
But Sweeney nearly got one last night. I know that.
And Javi is done for the year, folks.
Right.
And I think done for his career here in Detroit.
Let's hope. We can only hope.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
20 and 10, Bray?
Look, before the season started, I told you guys that the Tigers were going to make the playoffs. I said the Red Wings were going to make the playoffs. I said the Tigers were going to make the playoffs, and the Pistons, hell no. So I said this before the season, but I don't believe it now. I think this is another situation. I don't want to get my hopes up too high that they can pull it out. They're looking good right now. 30 games to go is a lot of games and a lot of things that have to happen for you. They haven't shown me that they can sustain this, so I don't want to be the doom and gloom. I just don't want to get my hopes up, then they don't make it. So I'm just going to say I don't think they have enough down the stretch to get to where they want to be and make the playoffs. But I do like where this team is going next year. And I know next year is the Detroit Tigers mantra.
Right.
Next year. We're building for next year. We're having the moves. We got this. But you are starting to see what this could look like next year. And then you have an off season. You add some weapons off season. Scott Harris, now we get a chance to really see what you're doing. What are you cooking up? Because the team looks like it's set up for you to make the moves necessary to have some success and put some guys behind Tarek Skubal, who's just a phenomenal pitcher. But I'm not buying in, but I hope so.
Here's the last thing I'll say, and then I got to take one more break before we get to high school football.
I had a question, too.
If the Tigers, and I think this is something that is realistic, if the Tigers win the next 3 games against L.A., okay? Just humor me for a moment. Okay?
Yep. That would make them 69 and 66.
What will the ballpark look like on Friday night against the Boston Reds?
Are they going to come out?
Yeah.
What will that park look like?
I'll be there.
Detroit
like
supports a
LCA,
winner.
like when the Red Wings got down that stretch, like LCA was rocking because they were starved.
It was.
That might be the biggest game played at Comerica Park in a decade.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Like, just in terms of the biggest not the biggest game, the biggest opening day buzz that you feel at Comerica Park in a decade.
Yeah. They haven't gave you much to cheer about over this time. So.
It'll be fun. These are my favorite times to go to baseball games, though, man. Like, once the summer starts winding down to an end, not necessarily as hot out there, and you know what's coming. You can feel that fall in the air. You can feel the breeze. You know the winds. You know the playoffs are coming. So it's nothing like being in the chase in September. So I agree. It's going to be fun. Who is this? Michael Rappaport?
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
That was Michael Rappaport.
I think he's here to fix the air conditioning.
Let's hope.
I saw on the chat someone wrote that I think Matthew Betts was released. I can't see it
we gotta
on
confirm
Twitter.
That.
But he was the Canadian star that they brought over, the CFL star that led the league in sacks.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he was going to be someone here, but he took a couple steps back in the preseason. Not sure about that yet. We'll follow up, but Lions still have how long we got? 20 minutes before 4 o'clock hits?
Yep.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if the Lions' 53-man roster is here before the heavyweights are on.
Mans, can I ask you a quick question sticking with baseball? And it's going to be about your team. We know you love the Tigers, but to know who your team is. Are we sleeping on how good Aaron Judge really is?
We are.
Man.
Like, I think because he got the 6'7", it was the 265, it was, he's a show, it's a trend, it's not lasting long. When you watch the things he does, whether it's OPS, whether it's batting average, whether how he hits the ball, whether it's fielding. Now, they were a little hype on that play the other day. He got the double play.
When I text you,
it was a good play.
It was a good play, but it wasn't going to be a home run, and he's 6'7". So pipe down with that. But with that being said, he's going to win the MVP yet again, and it's deservingly so. He's going to beat Shohei and Bobby Witt.
He is. But you know what? Yankees still probably not going to win the World Series, but 62 home runs, that was his record. He's going to beat that. And Shohei, 40-40 right now, looking at 50-50 down the barrel. I think he makes that in the next 30 games.
It's tough.
We're watching 50, two of the greatest players to ever play in baseball together.
Off the top of your head, Shohei or Judge?
Judge.
I got to go with Shohei.
I
think
go with
it's
Judge.
Judge.
If he breaks his own home run record, come on now.
Shohei's a unicorn, man.
He is.
He's a unicorn.
Next year I might say Shohei.
They gonna
be
give
the
him
ace.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get a break because we got a guest on hold.
Judge does more. That's all I'm saying.
He
right
is a
now,
phenomenal
this year, Judge.
This year, Judge. Next year, Shohei. Yeah. When he's the ace. First, a message from
merch. Hey, if you're looking for the freshest merch in the sports game, you know Woodward Sports got you, man. I know y'all tired of wearing the same old stuff, so come on over to woodwardsports.com, click that shop tab, and just unlock a world of possibilities. Hoodies, tees, hats, anything you can think of, you know we got it, man. But only if you go to woodwardsports.com and click that shop tab. Over to break.
Right now, the BGCSM is the best sports league that you can play in. Parents, do your kids a favor. Put the youth back in youth sports. Register now for tackling and or cheerleading at bgsm.org. You got to remember this, man. All coaches, all trainers, everybody's vetted and everybody is done a background check on. So you got to make your kids, they're our priority as well, and they're going to be in great hands. BGCSM, this is the league for you, man. 4 different cities, Highland Park, East Point, Detroit, and Sterling Heights. This is the league, man. You got to sign your kids up. And then ultimately, the goal is to play at Ford Field for the championship, home of the Kings and North of Detroit Lions. So register now. It's the league for you.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of. And guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
How would you like to play with a legend like Darren McCarty, Kirk Gibson, Braylon Edwards, or even Calvin Johnson? It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today, and you can play like a VIP. They are in the home stretch. Those spots are filling up fast, so go to woodwardsports.com or scan that QR code above my head. When it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision, people. It's Randy Wise Automotive.
It is one of the best events of the year, a sure sign that fall is on the way. It is the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic. High school football starts in the great state of Michigan on Thursday, and it doesn't get any bigger than the games at Wayne State. Let's bring in Marty Dobek, Deputy Director of the Detroit Sports Commission.
Yo, Marty.
Marty, how are you, my man? We love this event, and I will absolutely be there on Thursday. 2 games Thursday, 2 games Friday, a kickoff classic unlike any other.
Love it, guys. Thanks for having me back on. Yeah, we're just about 48 hours from kickoff of that 4 p.m. game. So, you know, the Classic is just an event that the Sports Commission created. I mean, this is the 19th annual event. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, how many events are around 19 years, right? 12th year at Wayne State. We're excited. You know, we got 4 games over 2 days on Thursday and Friday. Just a strong lineup of games, and we're really excited about it.
Yo, excited to always see you, Marty. Seeing you and your staff a lot in April at the Detroit, at the NFL Draft. Hell of a job you guys put on. I was glad to be a part of it, glad to be in the mix. So I say thank you for that, and the future endeavors coming. With that being said, talk about why is it that you extend from the major events like the Final Four, like the NFL Draft, and then you bring it all the way down to the high school level with the Zenith kickoff at Wayne State, near and dear to my heart. King plays in it a lot, so, you know, I went to King. Why is it that you guys go from the huge events to the smaller events as well, but still on the big to the high school level?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at events that we bring to our destination, you know, a lot of those times, you know, you're bringing out-of-town visitors. It's why we do what we do. We want to bring these events to generate that impact on that front. But normally, like our local athletes maybe are not participating in those type of events. And we really, at the Sports Commission, created this event to really as a community give back. And we wanted to create an experience for the student athletes and the schools involved in this type of event. And actually, at one point, we had youth basketball, AAU tournament, we had a youth baseball tournament, but the Kickoff Classic has really just stayed throughout, you know, our tenure as an organization since we were formed in 2001, and it was really just the intent was to give back to the community and create an experience. And we've had over 100 schools participate in this event over the years. So, you know, it's all for Southeast Michigan, and we do bring teams from the Midwest into the fold, but we really keep our focus to, you know, all the programs here in Southeast Michigan and throughout the state.
You know, I think you had upwards of 15,000 fans at the event last year. It is truly a bowl game type atmosphere for these high school kids, and you get some of the best football being played in the state. You know, De La Salle is playing in this. I'm very partial to the Pilots. My nephew plays there. Shout out number 7.
They were rivals. They were rivals.
Right. But Martin Luther King, MLK is going to play this weekend. Cleveland Heights is playing. I mean, you've got teams downriver, all playing at Wayne State. This bowl game-like atmosphere. It doesn't get any better.
No, it is. I mean, really, the tagline for the event is the season starts here, and it does. You know, we're kicking off at 4 p.m., and I don't think any game in the state of Michigan, we'd have to check with Kurt, you know, our PR guru, if there is a game that kicks off before 4 p.m. But, you know, the season is starting in Detroit, and we all know the season ends in Detroit with the state finals. So there's really no better platform, and we're just proud of the event just through the years and just how we've grown and how we've, you know, just been able to add layers to it year in and year out. And we've tried all different things. We've had 8 games, we've had 7 games, 6 games. This year we only have 4 games. But I think, you know, we're really kind of looking at quality over quantity. 3 days is, you know, it's long for an event, right? And we feel like 2 days is, we're kind of finding our sweet spot. We can really just hone in on creating some really quality matchups and be inclusive with the selection process as we always do. So trying to just, you know, we're always trying to evolve and format it in an appropriate manner.
Marty, quick big picture question. You know, with the NFL draft and success, breaking all the records and having people in and saying a lot of positive things about Detroit, obviously a springboard was had with that and maybe other events before. What's in the future? What's the next big thing? And if it's too big of a question, my apologies, but I'm excited. You know, I want to see Detroit more in this space. You know, a lot was said about Detroit and being a native Detroiter. Hasn't always been the case. So to see it in such a positive light, I'm excited for more. What's next on the Detroit Sports Commission's agenda?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to look at 2027 when we host the NCAA Men's Final Four at Ford Field.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we're excited to have the Final Four back in Detroit. I think it was probably 6 to 8 months after we were awarded the draft, we hit on the Final Four. So just a nice little stretch in being awarded those events. So 27 will be here before we know it. I mean, that's like tomorrow in event years, right?
Yeah.
When you're
that's true.
Planning and hosting events. And no, I do really appreciate the question because, you know, we've hosted the draft. We have the Final Four coming up in 27. We hit on the 2028 Big Ten women's basketball tournament, so we'll have Big Ten coming to town in 28. We're excited about it. We're, you know, continue to have those conversations with, you know, our proud partners with the Red Wings and the Pistons about all-star games, you know, maybe at the end of the decade into the next decade. As you guys know, we're always exploring, you know, what's out there and what's available for this city to welcome, because we know if we're going to get an event, you know, the draft is case in point. We're going to elevate that event. We're going to raise the bar and we're going to set records. And it's just, and I don't mean to come across as like just being overly confident. It's just, you kind of look at the history of Detroit when it comes to hosting events.
No, talk that stuff.
You know, we do raise the bar anytime we're bringing an event, and just the way the community rallies. I mean, we saw it with the draft and the Lions and the success that they had, you know, leading into the draft, and just everybody coming together at the end of the day. And I still feel like the future is bright. You know, we maybe haven't hit the ceiling yet, and we can grow and continue to bring some major events to this destination.
Marty, it's Maz. Good to see you again. I got a way for you guys to break the all-time record here for this high school, the Zenith Prep. Bring in Mumford High and Connor Stallions right now. Add them in, and I guarantee you we will fill that place up.
No, that's interesting story for sure. That's taking place over at Mumford, and we have a strong relationship with Detroit Public School League, and welcome the schools in and year out. So maybe next year, Maz, and we'll take a look when we start that selection process for 2025, which will be the 20th anniversary.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I wanted to ask you about college hockey. I'm a big college hockey guy, and we got cheated out because of COVID. We lost the Frozen Four. When can we expect the Frozen Four to be back in Detroit?
Yeah, so we are expecting some news from the NCAA coming up here in October. The Frozen Four is not part of the cards. Just kind of as we're looking at our calendar and everything of that nature, just wasn't really maybe a right fit just from a scheduling standpoint for the city. But, we're hoping to hear some positive news on NCAA wrestling championships coming back to Detroit. We hosted that in 22 very successfully. More hoops, at Little Caesars Arena. But, hockey's always going to be a fabric of this destination. So Maz might not be in 27 or 28 because the NCAA short cycle with their championships. But we're expecting another cycle to come through here in, for 29, 30, 31 and beyond. So, typically the NCAA, not to get too inside baseball, they do 4-year cycles. This time they only did a 2-year cycle. But we're expecting after they announce 27 and 28 championships, they're going to start the process for 29, 30, and 31. But, as I'm talking through all this, I got to write some of this down because I forget all these years and events and everything. But no, it's just such a labor of love and trying to bring these to the great sports town that is Detroit, right?
Go get them, Marty. Go get them.
Hey, Marty, let me ask you final thing, buddy. Where do people get tickets for the Prep Kickoff Classic? By the way, maybe you're not going to go see a game at Belleville or Clarkston or something like that. Belleville and Clarkston play at Wayne State on Friday. The #1 quarterback in the country, Bryce Underwood, an LSU commit, expected to play in that one. So that's a really, really big deal.
Yeah, huge deal. And keep it simple, Ryan. I know you guys are tight on time. It's DetroitSports.org. And we heavily encourage fans buying tickets now because the participating schools benefit from it. So just take advantage of that right now and think about the schools when you're making your purchase.
Awesome stuff. DetroitSports.org is the website for tickets. We'll see you out there. Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Marty. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Thanks,
Marty. You got it, buddy.
Take care, Marty.
The Detroit Sports Commission, one of the best organizations, one of the best well-run organizations, not only in the city, but in the state, in the country, really, what they do for the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. Great day today. It is football week, and it feels like we're starting to fly a little bit. So
let me see if I got the Lions 53 yet here before we say
okay, do that.
Let's
check it out, Maz.
Pete put it up already.
Lions 53.
By the depth chart.
Odell Beckham is starting on the PUP list for Miami. Dante Foreman's available. The Browns cut him. Donald Parham Jr. cut from the Chargers. Nothing yet on our Leos. Matthew Betts, the standout from the CFL, was released today. So
what about Equanimous St. Brown? Is he cut?
He's available.
He is.
Yep, he's available. He's
Did
not
he
going to
catch a touchdown pass this week?
I forget. It was last night. I watched the game. I don't remember.
Last night? It wasn't last night.
Then maybe it was a repeat. I watched the game last night. It was the Chiefs and Bears.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Man, you watch so much football. You don't even know if you watch it live.
I swear, I didn't even know it was live. It looked live to me. So to me, it was a live game.
Are you trying to say bring EQ home? Is that what you're saying?
Why not?
It's great.
Why not? Bring him home. Pair him with Amon-Ra. Why the hell not?
Bring EQ home.
While you guys are figuring it out, I would tell you we appreciate you for watching Ermanni Edwards with Maz on Woodward Sports Network. This
Frank
is
Gore
what we
Jr.
do.
available.
And get ready. Yeah, if I did, Frank Gore did get released. Get ready. It's going to be a week full of Michigan. I'm bringing you, baby. Fresno State night game
Frank
Saturday.
Gore got released?
He did.
Frank Gore Jr. Frank Gore Jr. gone.
We'll talk about this when you guys are out there.
Yeah,
KG, Maz, Pete, my man Ryan Ermanni. We'll talk to you guys. See you tomorrow.